My cat's calling. I want to get her.
Are you in Canada?
I am. Yes.
How is it there with the virus?
It's not as bad as the States. It's it's not as bad. I think our prime minister maybe got on it a little bit quicker. Yeah. He's not perfect, but he got some stuff figured out a little bit quicker. So yeah, it's not so bad. I think we're almost flattening the curve now, at least where I am for sure. I'm on the West Coast.
You live on a farm, right?
Yeah. But I'm not living on the farm right now. I'm living in my house, which is just 20 minutes down the road.
Yeah. Hey, Carl.
Hi, how's it going?
You're in New York, right?
No, I'm currently in Florida.
Oh, good.
I got out of New York right before everything went kind of the way it did. So.
Look at you, so cute with your pink hair.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, and I also love that top.
So are they?
I love that top too. I remember every time you wore it.
Thanks, honey. Yeah, it was one of the new ones acquired while on tour.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun one.
Is it nice and hot where you are?
Yeah, we just had some thunderstorms and now it's gotten like muggy and humidity. But yeah, we've had some really beautiful days. So I'm very, very lucky to be down here where there's space to exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, otherwise it's just, yeah. I guess I was very fortunate the way things happened when they did, because I happened to be coming to Florida for a wedding reception I was meant to arrive on the 13th of March, and I arrived on the 12th of March, and that's literally when they announced, like, Broadway's shutting down, everything's shutting down. I guess I'll stay put then.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah, it was kind of similar for me. I was, maybe I should turn myself this way. Does that matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Is that better?
You're gorgeous regardless of the angle, darling.
Say that one more time.
You look gorgeous, darling, no matter what the angle.
Oh, you're so sweet. No, so I was in New York up until the day before they shut everything down. And then I went back to Toronto because that's kind of where my base has been. And then I got a phone call from my aunt in the UK who is like, I had been talking to my mom, and my mom had been sick, but my mom had been downplaying how bad it was, and she had been hospitalized. So my aunt was like, you have to get back to BC right now to help her out. So I changed all my flights and figured it out and got back there super quick. And then, I've been here ever since. I was supposed to fly back to Toronto at the end of March, but I just got a voucher and I'm staying.
Yeah. Where are you? Where did you say you were right now?
I'm in my house right now.
Okay,
I bought a house while I was on tour.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's a rental property, but.
Here's Lauren from South Africa.
Oh.
She was really excited about this. She dressed up just for this.
Oh, amazing! I love it.
There you go.
I'm gonna run and get my charger super quick because I don't want to have a problem with that. Sorry.
Hey, Lauren.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Sorry, I couldn't hear anything. It was my bad.
Lauren, your backdrop looks very similar to my backdrop, so it's perfect.
Oh my goodness, I love that. Yeah. This is actually from the world tour.
Nice. Very nice.
I love yours.
Hi.
It's just Lauren. She's so looking forward to being Julia.
So cool. This is so
Hello.
cool. Hi.
Oh my God, Julia! Hi.
Hi, what's up?
Hello, how are you?
You look so pretty. Look at your shirt.
You look so pretty. Listen, the bottom is like leggings and slippers, so.
This is so cool.
I'm laying in my bed right now, so.
Yeah, perfect.
Hey, Constantine.
Hey.
Coco!
Hi.
Lily!
cute.
I can't hear anything.
Coco, we can
Interesting.
hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Okay, something.
Lily Pack,
How's
hi.
it going?
Hi, darling. How
Hi,
are
everyone.
you?
I can't hear myself.
Full on. You have a full on
Let's try.
recording situation. Look at you with your cute little chandelier in the back too.
Oh, Phooey, my audio's not working.
Oh, well, he can't hear me at all.
Yeah, this is
That's fine.
Philly. in the background.
I'm just gonna stare at all of your faces. Hi, everyone.
Hi, my name is Bea, by the way.
Yeah, you're
Hello.
even-
Yeah, I took the headphones out.
Hello. Oh, sorry.
I don't know why that's being funny.
And Bay, where are you from?
Oh, I'm from the
Okay.
Chicago. My name is Bea, by the way. So hello.
Yeah.
Hi, Bea.
Hi. I'm from the.
I'll be back in 5. I think I know what the problem is. See you in a bit.
Okay. I'm from the Chicagoland area. So, yeah.
Amazing. I love it.
Lily, I love whatever's going on behind you. I'm loving this like rustic wall. Like it's pretty.
Oh, it's so
Yes.
good,
My
Lily.
childhood closet door.
Pretty.
I'm in my childhood bed right
Oh,
now.
look. Here's Laura. Hey, man.
Laura and Chris.
Well, hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Who else in here? Eva, hi,
Let me
Eva.
change it to the.
And Laura, I'm so glad to finally meet you.
You too. Hello.
Alyssa.
Good to see you.
Wow, this is so cool.
Oh, there's Lily.
Meeting the
Hi, Lily.
Hey.
Is that
Oh, there's Carmen. In the
an
middle, and
Udine
Eva.
down there?
It
And
is.
Udine.
This is more fun for us, I think, than
This
anybody.
is so cool.
You're the
This is
power
really
couple of
cool.
the internet right now.
Morgan Cowling, oh my
That
god.
is-
Hi.
Oh my gosh, it's
Hey.
Caitlin Davis. Hi, Caitlin.
Hello.
All right, 5, 6,
Hello.
7, 8. 1 masquerade. Let's go.
No,
Come on.
absolutely not.
Those are the only words I know in that song. So
Oh, hi guys.
Hi,
hi, Kate. Hi, Morgan. Where are you, Morgan?
Here's Daniela.
I'm in New York.
Yeah. And
Oh, Luke's Diner. I gotta shut up. I'm being loud.
I love that mug too. I thought that was a great mug spot. That was a good mug.
Laura and Chris, I am dying at these videos. I am. It is
So
like
good.
the only thing that's keeping me sane is showing my whole family these videos. Like they're so
Thank you.
good.
It's
Can
so
you-
true.
can you even believe them? Like it's insane. It's actually
I
crazy.
know.
But I'm glad that you're watching them, and we're certainly having a lot of fun in quarantine.
What was the
And-
one? Did one hit 6 million views the other day? Is that what I saw?
I mean, some of them
One
are
hit 11.
20
One hit
million.
11 million.
Yeah, the Adele one
Oh
on
my
YouTube
God.
is it's some of them have like Corona on YouTube has like 26 million or something.
Oh,
On YouTube,
wow.
Adele has 11, and the one we just posted yesterday is already will hit 2 million today on YouTube. So it's
Yeah,
like
same. Me
That's
too.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Laura,
it's all here.
Laura, are
let's
you
be honest.
you're the camera lady, right? Like you had all the things. Like
Um,
you're the
On the
girl.
most recent one, she is.
On the
a
most
lot.
recent one, and
Yeah.
I shot some but a lot of it, like a lot of the early ones were him like with a camera on a tripod.
It's just my phone on a tripod.
And then I just like watch the footage afterwards and like tell him what additional things he needs to shoot. And
Wow.
shoot.
She basically gives me notes on editing and pickup shots, and then we do like
I
an hour
love it.
pickup shots, and then I put it online. And
I love it.
So good.
Hey, Quentin.
Quentin,
Ethan!
Hi.
hello.
Cute.
Hey,
Fancy face.
I've
Where are you?
actually I've met Alyssa a couple times.
Yeah, 4
at
times.
how many times?
4 times. Twice,
Wow. That's
twice
cool.
before fame and
Alyssa.
twice after.
Right. Yeah, you came to
wow.
a show of mine most recently in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And that was really funny because you were in the front row, and I said something about like a statistic in my life, and then you corrected me on my statistic. And then
What was it? Do you
do you remember?
I think it was when you were last here, and you were last here 7 years ago, 3 weeks from now, and then you were about an hour away 3 years ago.
You were like, it was 3 years. Yeah, I was like, thank you. And then I kept referring to you throughout the night for any factual verification. You know?
And the reason why I got into all this is because of you.
Well,
Sweet.
you've been very sweet throughout. We all know who you are, and I'm glad that everyone else can put a face with a screen name at this point because you're
Oh, yeah,
a very
that's
sweet
true.
girl, and we all appreciate how much you love the show. So
I love the show too, Phantom of the Opera. It's amazing. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's really good.
but now you guys talk. Everybody else, and we
Um,
can talk amongst each other too. I don't know everybody. Some of you guys are my time.
Yeah, some of us.
Some-
Oh, Coco, it's been so
Oh,
long.
I miss
Speaking
all
of
of
this,
your faces.
I have
I'm
this.
so excited.
I found out at a Halloween store the week before it was announced you were coming to Philly. Then, like, I didn't think I was gonna get signed by you.
Well, look at that. You better preserve it.
Yeah.
And wax. Better dip it in
Come
wax.
on. Come on, Chris.
Who's down there in the empty screen?
Here's Tynan.
Tynan.
Yay!
And Austin.
So cool.
I see baby
Oh,
Pete.
there. Oh, there. Look in the baby. In the baby.
There's a baby.
Oh,
Oh
my
my god!
So
Great.
Tynan, Austin, and Ambrose live right up there.
Oh, they live.
Really?
They live over that way. from me.
Michael.
Hey.
Wow, you got a good
Looks like we
crowd.
got
New
some
York.
Phantom fans in here meeting the cast virtually. This is really cool.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
Should we like go through like so that we know who's cast and who's fan, just in case?
Yeah, so I was gonna have everyone introduce themselves from the
Okay.
cast and when they were in the show and who they played.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Brilliant.
Well,
Yeah, because some of us haven't even met each other before.
right.
Yeah, I don't know who you are.
Hi.
Wow.
We've never met.
Because she is an OG. She's
Right.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
There's a couple OGs. Lily's an OG. Is that it?
I'm an OG.
I mean, Julie's an OG.
Yeah, Austin is.
Austin.
Oh, Austin
Austin
too.
is.
I am an OG.
I'm just a Phantom fan here, but
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
B. Thanks
Oh.
for coming.
my name's Bea, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Hello. Hi.
Well, that's-
I actually saw the Phantom of the Opera, the new tour, the Spectacular New Production. That was recently in Chicago, like the second to last stop before it ended. Hmm.
Ah.
And that was actually really amazing. I loved it. Yeah.
Well, a lot of these,
Yeah.
raise your hand if you were in the final Chicago. These are people you saw.
That's cool.
I don't think that was in the,
Caitlin, I actually saw Emma Grimsley as Christine.
She's awesome, right?
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome. She was such a great addition to the company too. I was really glad that I got to go back and actually work with her longer term because she's awesome and she's one of my very, very close friends now.
That's cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you're writing an album together, right?
Yes, it's a musical. It's a song cycle, and we just got our we got like our contract from Equity and stuff yesterday. So we're gonna
Oh
hopefully.
my gosh, full on.
It was very bizarre. Last night I got the email with like my name as a producer and like thank you to Equity and SAG and all the stuff we have to put in.
Yes.
Like, this
oh
is
my gosh, that's amazing.
Wait, I missed it. What's happening?
Yeah, what's up?
What's
Emma
happening?
and I wrote a song cycle together. Emma did all the lyrics and I set them to music.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a tapestry of different people, like everybody dealing with a different aspect of like being in quarantine right now, or like still having to go to work, or teachers having to teach over every person's perspective. Yeah, so there's 8 songs, and we're hoping to have it out on May 1st, hopefully.
That's so
That's amazing.
awesome.
Tynan, are you cooking?
I can't believe it. It's
Everyone-
I'm making some Caesar salad dressing.
Ambrose in the back is killing me.
So I'm
Oh.
garlic. I'm mincing up, making a garlic paste at the moment.
Brilliant. Ambrose is really interested.
Oh, right. I mean, he's just like, can I eat it? Is that something for me to eat?
Hi.
Got a strong right hand. Ambrose has got this strong. He's strong.
I have a question for some of you guys. So,
Mhm.
what's your favorite song from Phantom? I know it's a hard question because all the songs are amazing. So, like, what's your guys' favorite song?
Spanish Panic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You might have to tell her what that means.
Oh right, I forget. That's just
I have no
code.
idea what that means.
It's right when the Phantom almost gets shot during the Don Juan opera.
Yeah, that's
then,
actually that's also my favorite part of probably the whole show. You're like running around and
It's just hyped.
Yeah, it's great music. It's
That's
great.
our cue.
It's funny, like those transition parts are the ones like my favorite part orchestrally and musically is the transition into Wishing when it's just Christine and the violin. I think that's like one of the beautiful pieces.
So good.
Oh,
Well, also
so
the
funny.
mausoleum transition visually was always
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was always a little mad I didn't get the Christine massive cape to do the mic. I guess I'll just have to in another lifetime.
Is this Nick Hotel?
No, Nick.
No way.
Yes, I hope.
Oh,
this
is Nick on?
Yay!
Hi.
Oh my gosh, hi!
Nick, congratulations.
Thank you.
Where's that baby?
She is sleeping. Let's see if Christy can get her. She's just getting up now for a little bit of a feed.
All right.
How old? Nick, how old is she?
She is just a little over 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah. She was born April 2nd. So.
What is it like having a baby in quarantine? What was?
Ooh, it was a lot. So the week before she was born, there was a mandate by the hospitals that said that I was not allowed to be there. So Christy would have had to been in labor delivery all by herself.
Oh no!
And then the governor came out with an executive order saying that one person could be in the room.
Right.
Pretty much we had to wear a mask anytime anybody came into the room and out of the room. Christy
So the
was
entire
tested.
time?
Yeah, pretty much the entire time. Christy was tested and tested negative. I was never tested. They just kept taking my temperature. And it was intense. And then as soon as the baby was delivered, I got to stay in the hospital with Christy for about 5 hours. And then as soon as she went to postpartum, I was kicked out of the hospital.
So she was there by herself for 3 days?
No, literally we let's see, April 1st, her water broke. We were there through the night. I was there with her in labor delivery through the night in the room. We were not allowed to leave the room. We weren't allowed to walk the halls. We literally had to stay in the room the entire time. And then baby was born on, what was that? Thursday afternoon. I was kicked out Thursday evening, and then Christy was released Friday evening.
Okay.
So she literally stayed in the hospital like 24 hours. As soon as she got to postpartum, she was out by like 6:30 that night.
Wow.
It's crazy. And I mean, now it's even worse. Apparently we were just, hi everybody. I feel like I'm like telling another story.
So interesting. It's crazy.
We belong to this Facebook group that's all about moms that are going through this, because it was kind of like a support. We were figuring out all this information. What we found out now is that the other day there was, the entire postpartum floor was full, and there was only 2 or 3 nurses working the entire floor.
Oh my gosh.
The nursery had been shut down because they didn't have enough staff. And there was a woman who had complications. She was the one that was writing. She had complications with her birth. And so she could not physically pick up the baby. But anytime that you would call a nurse, it would take 2 to 3 hours before a nurse would come to you to help you. So we're very thankful that, I mean, because she wasn't even supposed to be here yet.
Yeah.
We are very thankful that she decided to come 3 weeks early. And yeah. But
I'm
she's
so
doing
glad
great.
that you were able to be in there with her.
So am I. Oh, so am I.
Yeah, I was pretty worried when I think Christine posted a whole big story on Instagram, I remember.
Yeah. So it was a lot. It was kind of crazy.
Wow.
To be,
Yay.
But now we're doing the parent thing and
At home.
sleeping and at home.
I would like to know a little bit about like what you guys are experiencing and what your life is like right now. Alyssa, Cielo, Lauren.
Yeah, well, I'm at home in Philly. School's closed for the rest of the semester. I'm just staying home doing my work.
Nice.
I'm just kind of like staying home, and I'm doing Zoom right now for my classes. Thankfully, I'm only taking 2 classes, so it's pretty fine. And yeah,
Where are you in school, Cielo?
I go to school at Rio Hondo College.
Where is that? I don't know where that is.
Oh, that's in California, Whittier. Yeah.
Oh, you're close to us.
I go to Penn State, but I go to the Philly campus, and I'm only taking 3 classes, and one was online anyway, so it's easy as hell.
Nice.
So I'm in South Africa.
Wow.
Oh.
We've been in lockdown now for 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. My mom's also here, by the way.
Hi, Mom.
She's just the best. So we've been in lockdown for 3 weeks, which kind of sucks because I am doing my LTCL this year through Trinity. So it's musical theatre. So it's basically my master's in musical theatre, but we are completely stuck in home. We can't.
Yeah.
We can only go to the shops for like food and hospitals, and yeah, well, that's basically it. Otherwise, you're stuck in here. So all my vocal lessons have been like this online. It's a struggle, but we're getting through.
Yeah.
What time is it
God
there
for
right now?
technology, huh?
Yeah, this
It's now 8:15
is
in the evening. In the evening, yes. Sorry, in the evening, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, thanks for
Wow. Yeah, I had a high
for
school.
you guys.
I had a high school friend who her family's originally from South Africa, and they were on vacation there 3 weeks ago now, 3.5 weeks ago. And New York went in lockdown, and I was like, are they gonna make it home? Because I'm from Australia, so like they were
yes
trying to get home. But they finally made it home, but they had to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I originally so my aunt lives in Canada, and this year I'm going to visit her, hopefully still. But I was planning on going to see all the shows on Broadway this year. And because of just visas, it didn't work out. Luckily, it didn't work out. Like the higher plan was for it not to work out. I did not get, well, I didn't apply for my visa. My mom said, okay, go next year. And if I did not decide to rather go next year, I would have left like in this time period to go to New York and
Well, I'm sure they wouldn't have let you though. At this point.
no,
Like,
of course, no.
Yeah.
Everything. There's no flights coming in or out, nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
Everything,
Where-
all the shows on Broadway are shut down right now also.
Yeah.
Which is
Exactly.
super weird.
And tours are too. I was about to see Les Mis again, and it got canceled.
Where?
Oh, look, there's a baby in here.
Look at that
Hi,
baby.
Christine.
Hi, Christine. Oh my gosh, wait, I can't see. Where?
Down in the bottom.
Oh my gosh, Darren.
I'm also looking for the baby.
Oh, baby.
Oh, that's how you do it. Oh, I found it.
Oh,
Oh, so the phone is on too. Oh, and there's Nick
Hey.
Cartel's baby. Okay.
She's so beautiful.
Oh, it's the baby.
She's so
Girl.
There's a lot of them.
We're just waking up from a nap, and we need a diaper change, and then she's gonna eat some food. So.
yeah.
So cute.
Oh,
Hi.
This
So
is
sweet.
really funny,
Okay.
some people
Alright.
Nick.
from the tour.
Nick, Bea was asking everyone what their favorite song
yeah.
in the show was.
Oh.
Or is. The show's not dead.
it still lives on.
I will say Final Lair.
Mm.
Concur.
Yeah.
I would like to say my
Hi,
favorite
Nick.
song is Meg's Aria.
Yeah.
That got cut from the.
Meg's
Yeah.
Aria. She needed rest. Thank you.
She needed rest.
So cool.
Lauren, I wanted to. Wait, sorry. Our friend from South Africa. It's Lauren, yes?
Yes, Lauren. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Whereabouts is your family in Canada?
Oh, Vancouver. British Columbia. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Amazing. I'm not. Well, I grew up around Vancouver, but I'm up in the hills of the middle of nowhere right now. So.
Oh wow.
Sounds like Eva.
Oh, that's amazing.
Are you at your
Yes,
house?
it's so fun. Sorry, who's talking?
Lily, are you at your house now?
Yes, I'm at my house, which is good. I'm doing like similar to what you're doing, like little reno projects. I mean, you're doing big reno projects, but I love seeing all the stuff you're doing. It's very exciting for me.
Likewise. It's been very fun to watch Lily watch everything that you've been like unveiling as it happens. It's been so
It's so fun because I luckily we're still able to do things, because I can just like leave a key for somebody and not be there when they
right.
So yesterday I went and I was like, oh my gosh, like so much stuff is done, and I'm actually now kind of getting a little bit stressed out about the house being done, because then that means I have to leave my parents' house. Being here, and I'm like, I don't want to leave. They were like,
Well,
you're 5 minutes away from my house, so I will survive. But
but it's tough. I mean, I'm really thankful because I mean, I'm sure you feel the same, Lily. Like, it's just nice to have people around you, like in this quarantine situation. Like, I would have been alone if my brother and his girlfriend didn't get laid off and moved in downstairs.
Yeah.
So
That's one of those things, like, you laugh about it, but do you, I mean, you really want to laugh
it's
about
not great.
it?
No.
It's helpful, but, yeah.
Also, but side note, this is just hysterical, so I have to tell this story. My brother, some of you know him because he came out and visited on tour. He decided to go gold panning for 2 weeks. So he's taken a tent and some food and went out into the middle of nowhere and is gold panning, self-isolating and gold panning.
He's such an old prospector.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Bunch of famous people.
That sounds about right.
Nobody else is doing that right now. It's a good time.
Yeah. Getting all the gold.
What he says.
$2.2 trillion worth.
Totally random, but there you are.
Sorry, that was my mom. She says hi.
Hi.
Hey to you, Chris.
Julius Eagle, will you tell us about yourself?
Me?
Yes.
Me
Where, yeah, where are you? What's your life like?
Me? Wait,
I'm-
me?
Yeah.
Julia.
Okay. Yeah, I know I came late.
Then I want to hear from Julia Udine too.
Hi.
Julia, go.
So I'm actually an opera singer, not professional, but I've studied opera for 10 years. You know, of course with the hopes of ever playing Christine, but I mean, reality stepped in. But I'm just a huge fan of the show. I've literally grown up with it. It was the reason why I decided to study opera in the first place. Cool. And funny story, so because it's such a huge part of my life, I actually went to see the tour at the Pantages this past summer. And after one of the performances in the lobby, my fiance proposed to me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I
Wow.
remember hearing about this.
Wait, were you Christine during that performance?
I'm not sure which performance you were at, but at the Pantages, that was right before I left. So yeah.
It was one of the Saturday matinees.
Hard
in
to
June.
know.
Yeah, but if you remember lots of loud cheering coming from the lobby, that was probably it.
I do remember hearing about this. I feel like it was Kate. Do you remember this? Was Emma on?
I remember the proposal.
Yeah.
I don't remember who did the show.
I don't remember. One of us was there, and we all heard about it, and we were very excited. So congratulations, that's awesome.
Congratulations.
And again, let's do a hands up who she would have seen at the Pantages. Hands up who was at the Pantages.
I know it was Derek. I know it
Definitely
was Derek as a Phantom.
Yeah, it would have been Derek. Yeah.
I think it was you as Christine. Shoot, I think. I wish I kept the playbill. Darn it.
It's all right. It's all right. Don't stress.
You might not have
Honestly,
even known from the
we're
playbook.
all
Too busy getting engaged.
Yeah.
Cat is so
Baby
cute.
and stuff.
Cute cat.
The cute cat.
Oh my God,
Hi,
Cat!
Cat.
Hi.
Oh, Kitty. Where?
Enough with the babies. Bring on the pets.
Wait. Where? Who?
Cat's gone.
I'll get it.
Aw.
Cat's out of the bag.
Julia Siegel, not Julia Udine, because we got the two Julias. I had another question. Did you tag me in something recently? Is your Instagram handle like Julia Sings or something like that?
I actually don't have an Instagram.
Okay, never mind. I was gonna say I feel like someone who was talking about being an opera singer had tagged me in something, and I was gonna say your voice is beautiful. So don't. Yeah,
Julia
yeah.
Udine.
But now I can't say that. I'm sure it's beautiful.
Audition
We're all
now.
doing-
Oh, thanks.
I think we're up.
All of the fans on here, none of you are having to have had graduate like now, right?
Oh, God,
I'm
no.
graduating
Okay.
in
No, luckily.
Thank God. That's good. I just feel really bad for all the kids out there who are missing graduations. Like that
Yeah.
sucks.
Well, I remember when I graduated high school, I barely remember anything because I saw Chris 2 days later. That's all I could focus on.
It was so bad that I erased your memory of anything. So traumatizing.
Hated my high school.
I understand. So,
Sorry, go ahead.
we can do this. So since she talked to me last, I can redirect, and then the next person can redirect. So Julia Udine, you're in New Jersey, right?
Yes, yeah, I'm in Jersey with my parents right now. And
You're
my
not far
dog.
from me. Because you're
I'm not far from you. I'm really close to Philadelphia, like
Yeah.
25 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think you live near where I have family in South Jersey.
Yeah. So I'm grateful to be home and out of the city and enjoying my mom's spaghetti and meatballs 3 times a week.
Jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had friends who saw you in Shrek, and I couldn't make it because I kept entering the lottery and I kept losing.
Oh man, well that's cool. I'm sorry that you didn't get the lottery, but
Yeah, I was actually in my high school production of that.
It's such a great show, isn't it? The music
Yeah,
is so
it is.
good.
And I actually saw I was a knight, and I actually saw Sutton Foster in concert back in November.
Amazing.
Yeah.
She's so good in that show too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, just curious for everyone, is anyone else located in SoCal right now? Or
We are.
just me?
No, we're in LA.
LA? Okay. Still.
That's where I'm from, but no. A lot of family.
Oh, you are.
I'll be right back. I
Where
just
are
need to
you
make
in
coffee
California?
really quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll be right
Go
back.
get that caffeine.
Oh, yeah. Where are you in California?
Me?
Yeah.
Orange County.
So you're in OC. All right, cool. I'll be at, well, if this ever opens up again, I'll be at the Segerstrom next year at some point.
Really? Or which show?
Just doing a concert as myself.
His
Oh,
own
nice.
show. His man show.
And Ghost
Man
Man.
show.
Stand-up comedy routine.
Concert as myself.
I gotta.
I'm not really
Yeah,
sure.
I-
Yeah, we're not really sure what my show is anymore now that I'm like viral for toilet paper. So all bets are off. The Phantom of the Toilet.
It's actually just adult parodies at this point.
So
That's all you're
then,
doing.
As
you
long as
know-
they pay me, I don't give a shit. Yeah.
So if it's your own show, would it most likely be in Samweli Hall or?
Whatever that I've played it before. Just like where Megan, like it's a cabaret space, like where Megan Hilty was at this year.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In that room, yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I'm literally 15 minutes away from Segerstrom, so.
Right, that's what I'm telling you because I'm gonna hold you to this.
So you're gonna see him.
Even if even if I can't make it to the performance, I'll still show up.
Oh, well, that's confusing, but okay.
No, stage door.
Julia,
Whatever you want.
then I would figure out how
I'm just kidding. If like if
She'll
I
come say hi after
I'm
the
just
show.
kidding.
Yeah, exactly. I'll come say hi after. Yeah.
She doesn't want to see you.
Yeah, I get it. That's fine.
No, I do. I don't know when. If it'll
You might have
happen.
other plans. I understand.
It might be during my wedding. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good reason. That's a good reason.
So,
did we want to go around and say when we were with the show, like we had talked about?
Yeah, that was our
Oh,
original
yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
I just
you
don't
go
know the
first.
order because I don't know what order everyone.
Yeah,
is.
I had Eva closest to my screen.
Alyssa,
you
why
do.
don't you call
Yeah,
people
you call
out?
people out.
Yeah,
Yeah, you do it.
I'll start at my screen, so I'll start out with Eva.
Okay, hi. I played Christine from July of 2017 to July of 2019 on the tour.
And Carmen, who I saw as Carletta.
Yeah, I was Carlotta understudy. I was also the confidant in the Spectacular tour. I started February 2017, and I stuck with it till we closed. This February.
And you're in trending online, what's black streaming online right now is Wild Woman, right?
Sorry?
You're the Wild Woman right now in the 25th anniversary.
Well, not what I was in the one that you can watch on YouTube. Yes,
Yeah.
on the YouTube one, you can spot me as Wild Woman and ensemble member and stuff.
She's
Yeah.
famous.
Oh,
I've done stuff.
Hugo.
So big.
Hi, Betty.
Am I really loud? Will you say what?
Why
oh,
don't, maybe they'll just say something.
He's so cute. You look like you just woke up from a nap.
Bark
That-
like a dog. Bark like a dog. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
As you were.
He's gonna
like-
take his iPhone.
He says, you can't tell me what to do.
Sorry, who was next, Melissa?
Julia.
Julia.
Oh, okay. I was Christine, and when did the tour start? What year was it?
2013.
13.
2013. I was
Or OG.
Christine.
Yeah.
I did the show with Morgan and Nick, yeah, and Lily. Yeah, and I did the tour for a year, and
Wait.
I went back for a short, second, and then
I think
I almost did the tour with Chris, but then we didn't.
I
Yeah, because
think
you
I
had your
remember.
you had an impectomy, I remember. I think you had an injury, right?
Yes, I did. And Chris had like an appendix surgery, and
That was a thing.
That was a
That was
bad
not a
city.
good. That was not a good city.
Yeah, because I was
not great
gonna go to that stop. Then I had a lot of stuff going on at home, so I just waited till I came to Philly next year. But Chris was gone, you were gone. Then I was supposed to see Eva. Then I think you were out sick, so I saw Caitlin both times.
Right. Yeah.
And I
Nice.
think if you did the tour in 2015,
It's a good show. The Kate show's a good
so,
show.
Julia,
Oh, thanks.
if you did the tour in 2015, do you remember being at Segerstrom at all? I think that was still with Chris as the Phantom.
I was not. No, I went to the Kennedy Center just for like, I only ended up doing one show because I was injured, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you would have saw Caitlin as Christine.
Probably. Again, this was 5 years ago, so
Yeah.
I don't fully remember already.
You might have seen Katie Travis also.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah, no, because
Julia
you were
also went on to
2016.
do the part on Broadway, which she's leaving out for some reason.
Yeah. Super famous.
She's
Which
fancy.
is big time awesome.
I did the show on Broadway too for like a year, almost a year and a half, and that was really great. It was a wonderful experience. It was cool to be able to do both the tour and the Broadway show because they're so different. So it was really nice to kind of get a taste of both.
What was your? Did you prefer one over the other?
I always say like I really feel like I wish there was a combo platter.
Yeah.
Like, a combo platter of the tour and the Broadway show. That would
Have
maybe
you all
be my
seen the new
favorite.
design though? Have you seen the new
Yeah, I
design
was
for the
gonna
UK
say.
tour? It's a mix of both of them.
Yeah, I feel like
Really?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And I also
Amazing.
feel like because it's Set Sklar, it's got to be a mixture of both.
It's a
you know,
mixture of
like,
both,
just
yeah.
Automatically.
What
Yeah.
the rumor is that eventually the Broadway production will become a mix of both of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh. That's gonna get a lot of people pissed.
And also this new there's supposed to be a new tour going back out in a couple years as well, which
Yeah,
will be
I
a
heard
mix
that.
of both of them.
Yeah.
So
Everyone, just stay available. Please clear your schedule.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I'll see you back on the road, 2024.
This
I
cast
guess
is really old.
next will be Lily.
I don't know. I'm really busy.
I'm really
Hugo, you want to be in Phantom?
Yeah, Hugo might actually be riled by that point.
Yeah.
Oh.
Lily's up.
Lily.
Lily. What?
Where's
I was one of the quarter ballet at the beginning of the tour in 2013. And then, 2 years ago, I moved into the dance captain position, and I was in that position until the end of the show.
And Lily, you were in the show. How many productions of Phantom did you do before the Spectacular New?
Just one. I did the previous tour.
Okay.
The Music Box tour was what it was.
With Trista and
Yes, Trista was Christine.
And Anne.
Hannon Geyser was
that's right.
with us. She was the wild woman and was also one of our very understudies.
Oh my God.
Was Jay in that too?
Was who? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Jay.
Jay Lefbeck. He was there before me, so I didn't know him.
Oh.
On that tour. And then who else? Was there anyone else?
Victor.
Steven in it with Trista.
Victor did.
Was Dustin in it with you?
No, he did.
He did Vegas.
Oh, he did Vegas.
But I think that Lily is the only person on here right now that did the entire run of the tour,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
which is incredible.
Yeah. Next on the list is the Mans.
I played the Phantom for years 2 and 3, and that would have, I guess, been 14, 15, or 15, 16.
It is 14, 16.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it was November 14, October 16, I believe.
Okay.
Did you guys go to Chicago for when you were Phantom, Chris?
I didn't. I missed Chicago every time I went. I didn't play. Yeah, there was a couple places I didn't play, and that was one of them.
Was Derek the only person that did Chicago? Was it like 3 times?
Who?
No.
No,
Derek?
Cooper did it the first round.
Cooper did it the first round.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Cooper.
And then Derek did it when I came.
I had some really wonderful memories, but the one that sticks out that Julia mentioned was the Kennedy Center debut, where I landed in DC and I was like doubled over, and Laura goes, "I think we need to go to the ER," and I said, "No, we don't." And then they immediately put me into surgery. I had my appendix out, and then I never got to do the show with Julia after hoping and wanting to so bad. And then
We got a rehearsal together. We had a great rehearsal, didn't we?
We did. We had some great rehearsals.
We had some great rehearsals.
Really good. like our marking was I still connected
spectacular.
even though we marked. Yeah.
I was not marking, by the way.
Oh right. Oh, neither was I. Neither was I.
Oh my
No, he never marked. Never marked.
I don't even know what that means. I meant Mark Emerson. Mark Emerson.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. That's right.
All right, and then
I was a swing. I joined in October or September or something of 2015, and I left in March of 2017. And then I came back for what was supposed to be like 6 weeks, and I think I was there for a couple months last, whenever that was.
It was
Yeah,
last
that was
winter.
in the winter, yeah.
Yeah.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, over Christmas, and which was fun. And Hugo was in the show from December 12th of 2016 to March.
yes, he was. And
9th of
although I didn't
2017.
perform in Chicago as the Phantom, I had sex in Chicago.
Phantom babies. Listen, gotta come out some way or the other, you know. And
Isn't that right, Quentin?
yeah, that's right.
He thinks he was the, this kind of transfer. The hair, hard to tell.
That's true.
Could have been anyone.
All right. Next on the list is Morgan, who I ran into in Les Mis in 2018.
That was hilarious. I was with Haley and Mickey, and we road tripped to see Steve in Les Mis, and we're all waiting at the stage
Catherine
door
was
to
with
get
you and Haley.
Haley. Yes.
And Catherine. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have a terrible memory, and the quarantine's made it worse. Words are hard. And yeah, and we were waiting for Steve to come grab us to take us backstage, and you were there, and you were like,
So you were coming out.
Oh, we were coming out. Okay.
Yeah, because like I think the last one just came out of the stage door. So it's just my friend and I, and like a little girl of her dad.
Yeah,
But
you
they were
tell the
still-
story. You tell the story.
Yeah, so I
I'm
think I
terrible.
recognized Haley first and Foster the Familiar, but then I remember she posted she was at the show like a week before. So I was like, that can't be her. And Catherine came out and I recognized her right away. Then like she was confused of why I knew who she was, and you and Nikki were right behind her.
Yeah, yeah.
And you knew me from Instagram.
Yes, and you had your Phantom program with
Yeah,
you.
because I
and
had
you
for
signed
Steve to
it.
sign, because there was one Caitlin sent me before she came back from my stop, and Steve was in it, so I had it for Steve to sign, even though you all weren't in it. I just had you sign it. Actually, I have it right in here.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Third, I literally,
funny.
yeah, this playbill.
Yeah.
And I had Steve sign the Caitlin understudy slip.
Gotcha.
Rude. That's rude. Whose side are you on?
I don't think you specifically sent me this one because it was Laura's last stop.
Oh, yeah, I did actually.
Well, I had that annoying page when I was in high school.
Oh, right.
All right, Kate, back to me now.
Yeah.
Classic Morgan.
I'm kidding. A little bit. No, I played, I was in the Quarter Ballet understudy Meg in the beginning in 2013. Started with my OGs here, and then after the first year, was lucky enough to get bumped up to Meg full time, and did Meg until I left with Chris Mann and Storm and Jackie. We all left at the same time in 2016, October, right?
Yeah, it would have been then.
Very long time ago.
I wish I could meet the previous Phantom cast members.
Morgan, you and I haven't spent a bunch of time together, but you are remembered so well backstage. So I feel like I know you, but like you're just constantly being quoted.
It's so funny. I was gonna say to when Quentin popped in and didn't know Morgan, I was gonna be like, "Have you ever heard someone say knock knock, it's a girl?" Because
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
now Morgan, you always said that.
Yeah, so when I remember when I met you at Les Mis, there was a little girl with dad. They thought that you were all in the cast of Les Mis.
We was not.
All right, so I guess Caitlin's next, who I saw as Christine twice in Philly.
yeah, I was in the show. I joined the first time in 2016, and then I left in, I guess, like a year and a half later in 2017, and then I came back last January and then closed it out. So it was like 3 years by the end of all of it, I think, altogether. But it was fun when I came back in because Laura was back, Tynan was back, Katie McCreary was back. It was 2016 all over again. Oh, so many of us came back in.
You had like a picture saying 2016 all over again of Katie.
Yeah, it was so many people. Yeah, it was so many. And then I think Hawaii was a big selling factor for that. Everyone was like, we're going to Hawaii.
got to be on the road with
Oh man, I was I'm miffed I didn't get a good chance to get to Hawaii, but that's okay.
But you know, it ended up being kind of cursed. Everybody got like sick and injured. It was bizarre.
Eric Davis and I had like the best deal on that. We got to fly to Hawaii to sing just one song for like an hour, but we were in Hawaii for like 5 days.
Oh man.
Chilling out. It was amazing. And it was actually my first time meeting Derek, but it was like we like hit it off and just like laid on the beach. It was great.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Incredibly envious of the two of you.
Yeah, I love that
So
you get the press event going to Hawaii, and like I get the press event going to Lincoln, Nebraska. Like that's so much fun.
Yeah, I went to Springfield. I got the crap out of that deal, I think.
Yeah, I'm like great.
I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for those 5 days.
Yeah.
All right, I guess Danielle is next, who I saw in Philly and got you confused with think Sarah Mossman.
Oh. I don't remember that. I believe it. When did I join? I did my first day of shows at the last day of the Kennedy Center in 2016. So that was awesome. And then I closed out the show. So I think I did half the tour. And I worked with almost all of you except Nick and Julia. Right? That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, nice to meet you guys.
Hi.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, next is Constantine, who I apparently saw in Philly according to my playbill.
Cool. Hi guys. Nice to see all of you again and to meet some new faces. I played the porter, and I was the portal in the final lair. No, I also understudied Raul, and I was with the tour from May 2017 to December 2018.
All right, next we have Tynan and Austin.
Yeah.
Constantine, I love that setup. You're ready to give the play-by-play. And up
Right.
next, we have Tynan and Austin and Ambrose coming to you live from Washington Heights, Manhattan.
And so tell us, how have you been experiencing the quarantine? No.
Chris, what was your latest YouTube smash hit about daycare being closed? Great.
Yes.
No, we're doing well. Austin, come here. Okay, it's going well. It's going well. Can you say hi? Can you say hi? Good job, baby.
Yay. Hi, Ambrose.
Austin, I'm just gonna speak. Austin was an OGer, had props for the tour, and he was there until 2016.
Gender was my last stop.
So I think that was 2016.
Right after the Kennedy Center, whenever that was.
I joined July of 2015. I was a swing, and I understudied Madame Giry. And but then I came, so I came and left. I was there for 18 months straight through, and then left for 6 months, and then came back for 6 months to cover some injuries and leaves of absence, and then went home for 6 months, and then went back to cover a maternity leave. And then while I myself was pregnant and didn't go until I was 7.5 months pregnant.
Wow.
I remember those.
left to have the baby, and then ended up coming back about another 6 months later to do just 2 weeks in Lincoln, Nebraska. And Ambrose came with me, so I think yeah. So Ambrose was in the show for a few months. And Austin, we got married while on the tour. And Austin was responsible for keeping everything looking so beautiful. So painting everything and gold leafing the opera boxes and just touching them. Did you gold leaf the chandelier at one point?
Yeah,
too?
Yeah.
Gold leaf.
I saw Austin as the props in Beetlejuice the day Gina Davis was there, and it was amazing, that whole show.
Yeah, so Austin was head props at Beetlejuice, and was with them from the very beginning, and then left Beetlejuice to go, and he's head props at Company currently. And he's there because Patti LuPone put him in her contract.
Wow.
Is that right?
I mean,
Yep.
he's there because he's incredibly talented, but also.
That doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt to have Patti LuPone in your
Wow.
family.
Yeah. You gotta have somebody in your pocket. And that's a good one.
There's my little brag for my husband, and I'm just hanging
And
out.
Tynan has a wonderful album out on Spotify.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, thanks. It's a little happy album.
I love it.
I'm learning how to play the ukulele, so Lily and I can do some duets together.
And you're a Grammy winner, right?
I did win a Grammy this year. That is correct. Thank you.
Yeah.
Your publicist. Thank you so much.
Dang, Tynan.
She's gonna drop that right there.
Did you get sort of like, are you gonna get that certificate that has that Grammy on it? Do you pay for that, or how's that work?
I should receive one, but I
That's
don't.
so
I
cool.
think it's lost in the mail at the moment.
Well, I think it takes a long time to get it, but you probably have to pay for it too. But you should, because that's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm dying. What's happening behind you?
Upside down.
Rose is trying to eat the anchovy.
Helicopter.
Wants the anchovy paste because I made Caesar dressing. This kid's an eater. He eats everything we put in front of him. So that's us. That's our deal.
Next is Michael.
What's up, friends? Good to
Hi, Michael.
see your face.
Weird.
This has been my quarantine project. I've never been able to grow my facial hair, not because I can't, but just because of work. And now I figure, if not now, when? So here we are. I have a beard. I normally don't. I took over for Constantine on the tour in the same track ensemble for Raoul Understudy, which was right when Kate Davis came back for that last stint. So we were in rehearsals together, which was pretty cool.
Texas, right, Michael? Texas?
It was Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Austin
Okay.
Cora, who's a member of the Corps de Ballet, we joined together. So, and I wrote it out to the end to Toronto. And I am quarantining at my in-laws' house in Connecticut, which has been delightfully boring, but we've been cooking a lot, and I bought a guitar, and I am growing a beard, and that's about all.
Where in Connecticut are you?
Connecticut are you? We are in Greenwich.
Ooh, there's a feedback.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm out in Wolcott. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, say like 2 seconds about how crazy your put-in rehearsal process was as far as like you getting thrown in so quick.
Yeah, so I started in Oklahoma City, and then my first performance was in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I had 4 shows as Raoul, so like my first throw in on stage was in the principal track, which is pretty wild.
Yeah.
But
You didn't get to do your ensemble track before.
Yeah, totally. I had like forgotten my whole ensemble track in that first week.
Wow.
Thanks, Lily.
Watching.
But yeah, it was kind of nice to just rip the Band-Aid off and be done with it.
It was great.
Yeah.
I remember it fondly. It was a lot of fun.
I like turned all the wrong directions in Masquerade.
No, you didn't.
You're doing great.
No, you were fine. You were totally good. You did great.
It was fun.
All right, so next is Nick, who I almost saw as Valjean, but I saw Steve, who's also just as great.
Yeah, so let's see. I was an OG, so 2013, and then I did the first 2.5 years of the tour. My last city was Nashville, and then came back to New York for about 1.5 years, and then did 2.5 years as Valjean on the national tour of Les Mis. And just finished that in December, and then we had a baby. So that
I saw you as Jean Valjean.
Oh, you did? Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wasn't he amazing?
Philly was the city that I got really sick in. It was
Yeah,
like the
but-
first time that I got sick, and I was out for like a full week. Which
Yeah, because I have a friend who
sucked.
actually works there. I remember he would always post the board. I think you were only on for like 4 days.
Yeah, I opened it. Actually, Julia saw like
I got to
left.
see one act of Nick Cartel
Uh,
and one act of Steve. It was
So
amazing.
I opened the city, and then it was the Friday I felt sick. So Saturday I had a whole bunch of people coming, and I actually had to call out for the full weekend.
Yeah.
Because we were in Philly. I came back to New York to kind of like recover. I went to the doctor, I got meds. And then I was like, by Wednesday, which was I think the night that you were coming, Julia, I was like, I'm gonna be back in the show. I did the first act, and I went, and at intermission I just wasn't feeling well. And I went down to the music director and I was like, can we do just the beginning of Bring 'Em Home? And I cracked horribly, and I was like, that's it. And it's it was the first time, it was the first and only time I did, there was another time, but I actually had to call out an intermission, and it sucked. It was the worst feeling ever to have to call out in the middle of a show.
Yeah,
but,
I saw the first. Yeah, I was the first Sunday. Because the second Sunday, which was the last day, it was the day the Eagles got into the Super Bowl, and the streets
it
were
was
wild.
nuts that day.
I was like, I was
But,
glad that I went week 1 and not week 2.
Yeah.
And it was
But,
actually supposed to be here last week. Then of course this whole thing shut down.
Yeah.
Patrick
So,
was actually supposed to be on here. I don't know where he is.
yeah. So, but that's, yeah. So now I'm back in New York and teaching and doing a lot of Zoom teaching, which is good. But here we are.
All right, and last on our list is Quentin.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played the Phantom. I don't know. I think I started in December of 2017. Is that right?
Yeah, because I saw Dirk his last month.
Yeah. So
Minneapolis.
And then
Minneapolis.
Derek came back, right?
What was that?
And then Derek came back after.
And then Derek came
Yep.
back. That's right. I was on it for 18 months.
Wow.
Just enough time to be there when people were starting to come back. And you know, I got to meet a lot of cool people.
I
And
wish I
then,
saw your performance. I wish I saw
Yeah.
Chris Mann's too and every Christine too, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm most sad that I didn't get to see Chris Mann. I think Chris is, you know, I got to see his solo show. It's supposed to be super good.
They're great.
I remember
Shout out to
'cause
Chris.
when I got my tickets for Pantages, I got them around like February or March before you left. So
Yeah.
I thought I was going to see you. And then it wasn't until like a month or two before that like you announced leaving. And I'm just like, darn it, I wanted to see you. But
I know. I had so, you know, because I'm from Southern California. I have like my whole high school, my drama teacher and his whole class was going to come out and, you know, a bunch of stuff. But
okay.
alas, it wasn't meant to be. But it was okay because I had a baby instead. Not me, but my wife had a baby.
Well,
and so I'm at home right now, hanging out with the wife and the baby. The baby's asleep. Otherwise, I'd bring her out.
And you're supposed to go to Caroline and Change, right?
That's right. Well, we were just about to start dress rehearsal. Our invited dress was canceled because of the coronavirus. So yeah, we didn't have an opening night, but we're coming back on probably in August.
Right. Hoping to see that.
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah.
And you're in Portland and Best at the Met, right?
That's right. You can see me on that live at Met HD.
Wow.
Hey guys,
cool.
I gotta go and I gotta help with the baby. But
Nice
it was good to
seeing you.
see everybody.
Bye, Nick.
Thanks for doing this.
Congratulations.
See you all later.
Thank you so
Talk to everybody there.
Maybe a
You
big
guys are lovely.
Love you,
too,
Tynan.
because the boy's freaking out. But Alyssa, thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We actually have another Zoom as well.
Well, so great.
We
to
love
see
you guys, and call us.
I
And
have to get on
Alyssa,
a Zoom for my theater company and sing a song real fast.
Alyssa, thank you for organizing this. It's really good to
You're
see you.
welcome.
Thank you.
I saw 18. I don't know if I should mention her name, but an 18-year-old Broadway actress was charging $300 for an hour of Zoom lesson, and I'm like, no way.
Dang. All right, y'all take care.
Yeah.
It's so,
Mhm.
so great to see you, and great to finally see you, Laura.
You too.
Yeah.
Okay, see you, Laura.
Bye, you guys.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Yes, I know. Lauren, you had a bunch of questions for Julia.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm feeling super embarrassed. Sorry. So first of all, everyone, like, if you're wondering how I know how you sound, a lot of bootlegs. I know they're a big no-no, but I am in South Africa. Otherwise, I would be supporting all of you. So for you, especially Julia, what is the most memorable thing that happened to you while you were playing Christine on Broadway?
On Broadway?
Yes.
I have this memory of my first rehearsal, actually, and I got to do the show with Norm Lewis, which was so special because I was such a huge fan of Norm before the Broadway show. I think that he's just spectacular, but I was so nervous walking into that first rehearsal. Like, my heart was racing out of my chest. I was like, oh my God, what if he doesn't like me? Like, is he mad that he has to be at this rehearsal right now? Because, you know, I just had all these crazy thoughts spiraling in my brain. And then I walked in and he opened his arms and he was like, hey, with this big, like, bear hug. And he ended up being just the kindest human to me and made my Broadway debut really, really special. And I think he gave me flowers the night of my Broadway debut, and he was just
that's amazing.
So supportive, and like somebody that you look up to and that you're a big fan of, for them to also be a really kind and down-to-earth person just makes it all the more special. So yeah, that's probably, like, I know that's not like a on stage memory, but that's what
no
yeah.
Everyone tells me Norm's like one of the nicest people ever. I think my friend saw it with Norm and Sierra, and like I think she like wrote a letter to Norm. The stage manager gave it to him. He just took her backstage afterwards.
He's a stand-up guy. He's a class act, and he's incredibly generous on and off stage.
But I was just watching him on Jesus Christ Superstar the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'm really glad to hear that about him because I love his voice. He's definitely one of my favorite Phantoms that I've heard.
Yeah, he was really fun to do the show with, for sure.
Well, you're definitely paying it forward, because how you felt about Norm while still feeling is how I feel about you, and you're such a lovely person. So
that means so much
thank
to
you.
me. Thank you.
No, I've really been like following you and everything since you started on the tour. So thank you.
That really means so much to me. I'm so happy that we have this little platform that we're able to connect and talk and, just be together even though we're not.
My hands were like shaking before it started. I was like, breathe.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think we all feel like that. I don't think that, I was nervous before I even signed on to this, so.
Me too.
Yeah.
To be honest, this is actually like kind of like my birthday present right now. Today I'm 22.
Aww.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm honestly like I was super excited to see like Chris because he was the first Phantom I saw live, and I'm very excited to see Michael because I saw him as Raul last year.
Oh yay!
And I'm so excited. I see all of you. Like, could I like take a picture of this for my Instagram story?
Yeah.
I'm actually recording this, not post this online.
Oh, okay. I still want to take a picture.
Yeah, you can take it, of course.
Moment right now.
Look at us all smiling. We all literally just adjusted our faces to the center of our screen. Be like, hi.
Thanks.
So I also have another question, but it's like a general for all the cast. So obviously I'm studying musical theater, and I was just wondering, what advice do you have for me planning to go into this industry? Yeah.
It's so hard. So many things.
I was just gonna say, just so you know, if Phantom's ever on your thing, it took me 10 years before I finally got cast in the London production of Phantom. So just my biggest advice is always to like, just keep going at it, keep auditioning. I mean, obviously know your stuff. I'm sure everybody will get into coaches, but it's one of those businesses you just have to keep hacking away at it. And don't let the first no be your only no. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's really good advice. I like piggybacking off of that, even, whether it's one show that's saying no to you or whether it's all of them, it kind of, you have to be persistent and you have to trust yourself. I think that that's a really big thing because a lot of times it's easy to stop believing in yourself when you hear 10 no's.
Oh, yeah.
But you just have to know that like everybody is in the same boat. Everyone in this business has been said no to and rejected thousands of times before they get a yes. So knowing that always brought me peace and still brings me peace.
Knowing that it's not personal. That there's so many different factors that go into putting a show together that maybe, you're just not the right fit, but that doesn't mean that you're not talented or, that you're not gonna get something else. It's just there's so many different things that we don't even know about. So when you know it's not personal. It's just business.
Kind of piggybacking off of that too, I think it's so easy to say like, this is the path that we are going to take to get to this point. And it never looks the same for anybody. And I'm saying this out loud to also remind myself of that. Because I think that's the funny thing about when people ask any of us for advice, it's like, we also need to hear that sometimes as well. Like there's never a point where it's like, we've got it all figured out and this is what we're gonna do. It's like, we've lived some life, we've done some things and we've learned some things and, but we're still learning, But yeah, I think that's a big one. Like if you're seeing someone else like doing something that you want to do, just try to shift the perspective and be inspired by that versus like, well, I must be doing something wrong that I haven't gotten there yet. It's like, no, it's going to look different for everyone.
Wait, I wanted to add something too. I think because of that, like it's not linear, I would say find things that you're passionate about that keep you feeling like sustained in like the lulls between it, just because it will be something with so many gaps. So if it's like your only survival jobs make you want to die, you're going to want to quit faster than if there's other things you can do that you also enjoy. Cause it's like a long game, it's the waiting game. So like if you can be the one that doesn't burn out and can keep auditioning and keep doing that, you're way better off than if you're totally burnt out. So like side jobs or even not jobs, but side projects that keep you feeling artistically fulfilled and passionate, I think will be really helpful just to wait it out, especially because you're going to try to be entering when things are like being flipped upside down right now.
The worst possible time.
Yeah. It's like, what can you do? I mean, we're all trying to be like, continue to work or get new jobs or whatever in this worst possible time. So if we can find new innovative ways of like performing for ourselves or like doing other side projects, I think it will be better so we don't want to quit.
Yeah, and
I think that's
has
so
an awesome EP out.
What?
And you have an awesome EP out.
Oh,
I think all these cool concerts online now.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm very bad at promoting it. Please go listen.
Oh, and then Caitlin, I think you were trying to ask me something earlier.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you noticed that the summer opera festivals have not canceled yet?
I did not know. I didn't notice that.
Really?
But I mean, then again, I've been busy with wedding stuff all, like I'm going into be focusing on wedding stuff all summer.
Sure.
But,
yeah. But my best friend is contracted with Glimmerglass, and they emailed them like 2 days ago being like, we're thinking of putting everyone in a 2-week quarantine when they arrive.
Oh my God.
And it's like, that doesn't make any sense because like people have to go get groceries and like it doesn't help. I think the intention is very, it's good in the sense that like we want to be making art and we don't want to cancel prematurely and like we want to do the right things, but it's also like at this point singers are nervous. Like I don't want to travel to this festival and be at this festival and then have to be shut down and then I've been exposed, so
and then have to go through the hassle of traveling and
and so I think a lot of them have like joined together. They're like deciding all together and they're in different states, so I think that's what's like delaying it, and then they'll all decide together if they're going to try to do it or not. I don't see how they can, but I found it very interesting that like Broadway shut through June and like opera festivals that are starting in mid-May still haven't canceled. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I have a concert in the middle of June at a smaller venue. I'm still waiting to hear about that, but I assume it's going to get canceled.
No, because I started rehearsals for a show right before all this happened, and we only got through a week of rehearsals. We were supposed to open towards the beginning of May. Clearly, that's not happening, and so we have to push back and so now, like we're still planning on doing it, but it just sucks because it was one of my dream shows. But
it's like that everywhere in the world. I mean, here in South Africa, we currently have, I don't know if you guys have followed what's happening like here, but we currently have like only, I think it's below 2,000 people that have the coronavirus. I mean, it's nothing. And we have a very dense population and everything is cancelled, everything. The producers were, the musical, obviously, it was here and it's also now, it's cancelled, everything.
It's funny you bring that up because that's actually the show that I'm doing right now, that I started rehearsals for, yeah.
What show?
The Producers.
Oh, I love that. Sorry, I couldn't hear it.
I'm one of the usherettes from the beginning, so.
I love that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's such a great show.
Yes, it is.
I was completely baffled to hear that the World Tour, the Phantom World Tour, was still performing as
It got canceled for 2 weeks and it's coming back next week.
Where are they going?
Korea.
They're in Korea, and they announced that they're going to resume performances like next week or something.
Yeah,
I saw that.
And I heard like as the virus was going on in Korea, they were like still doing performances, and it was like record breaking.
Yeah.
But isn't it because they have it more under control?
Yes,
Over
they
there?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They
this whole
completely stopped it.
but putting a whole bunch of people in a theater is gonna just bring
Yeah.
it back.
Still not a good idea, but hey.
Yeah, well, the one thing is, I'm glad your tour ended right before all this started.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really lucked out with that, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, for real.
especially because I personally am happy to not have the pressure at the moment of like a company that's going to say, we've decided we're assembling in whatever state like next week, and not being able to really process what that means for myself. So I'm relieved to be in a lull at the moment, but like ask me in a year when I'm broke. I don't know.
Yeah. Alyssa, you remember our accompanist Ruth Kwan?
Yep, she was supposed to come on. She said she had something going on.
Okay, so like they were all told she was on the thank you. I was gonna say South Pacific. Good God, my brain is mush. And they were told like, okay, we're not going to the next city, but we'll see you in 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, they were like, okay, we canceled the tour. And so they didn't really get to say goodbye to each other. And I think that's just so sad. And I was just piggybacking.
That just happened with Book of Mormon. They were on tour for just as long as you were, and they just like ended.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah.
To just be like, oh, okay, bye.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, that sounds like what happened with Beetlejuice on Broadway, where they were supposed to have their last show, like June 6th, and then they, it's like that's it. They had their last show without even knowing it. So
yeah, I saw that show, met some of the cast, and it was amazing.
It was so good.
Yeah, I saw it in September.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, when it was Gina Davis visited it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I saw it the week of Halloween, and so it was kind of cool to be there. Like, they had a competition going for costumes in the audience, and it was just like a fun atmosphere.
Yeah, and they have a whole big fan base on Facebook.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah.
Guys, does anyone else have any other questions?
I'm thinking of one.
Me again.
Okay, go ahead.
Yo, I was so nervous. I had to write it down. So
I get you. I got you. That was me too.
So do I.
So also this is it's for everyone. The most challenging parts that each of you experienced, whether it was being on tour in the show,
I'll go. The most challenging thing for me in that first year, I think, was staying healthy while traveling and being exhausted on travel days, and then having a show that night, and then just the schedule. I think I don't know if you all remember Tech, I guess Morgan and Lily, if we remember Tech in Providence, when we were kind of like, there all day, and then we were doing previews at night too. And at that time, I think I was doing the 8 shows at that point.
Yeah.
We hadn't had a put in yet for the Christine alternate. So I was like really exhausted and just trying to stay healthy. I think that's like the hardest part of being a performer in general, is like, everyone's talking about this quarantine, and I'm like, I've been doing this my entire life. Like, I never like shake hands, like say hello to people. Like, so staying healthy, I think, is really tough, and then also trying to have a social life and like be a person too at the same time. That's tough.
Yeah. Julia, that's like exactly what I was just gonna say. Kate, like, how much do we speak about phlegm and allergies and like, it was like every day, like, how you doing today? How you feeling? Like, and the constant traveling.
Yeah.
I don't, for myself, like, before I went on tour, I didn't do a crazy ton of traveling. I worked a little bit on the West Coast, a little bit in Toronto, a little bit kind of, but your body doesn't adapt quickly enough to 2 weeks in a different city. So then all of a sudden you're in a full, whatever, because you were on a plane, you've got different allergens, and like, I don't know, Kate, I was so grateful, like, Kate, our team, Christine, Kate and Emma, like, checking in every day. And being
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How's your phlegm level today?
Yeah, because you don't know, like, you're like, am I getting sick, or did I just breathe in dry plein air for 2 hours, and like, should I be doing the show? Like, and you're trying to decide, like, do I feel better or worse than that other time that I was actually sick?
Yeah.
I got it today. You're like, and you're just constantly checking in, being like, you're literally about to be pushed forward. Like, Christine Diet can sing it, sir, and you're like, I don't know.
Can I?
I don't know.
And
Maybe.
Didn't you do 15 shows in a row once?
Yes, I did. That was crazy. I actually and I was so new at the time, and I think there was like a big part of me that was like, I'm so excited to prove I can do this. And then I was literally in a heap in that dress before the rooftop, like so scared that nothing was going to come out of my mouth when I opened it, when I went on stage.
What?
I was just like so scared. I was just in a heap in the dress, and I remember Storm coming up and being like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine." And then I just like went and did it, and I was like, "Thank God." I was very relieved once that was over, because like
Yeah.
I had a show in
last minute to my stop.
I had a show in Boston where it was like press night in Boston, and I had the worst cold of all time, and I was like, no, I'm fine, I can sing. And I remember that was like the biggest mistake ever. I got to wishing, and I'm like, why can't the past just die? And like, I don't think anything came out, and I went backstage and I was like, oh my God, I'm humiliated for the rest of my life.
Oh God.
But I think we all probably have stories like that where we think like, yeah, we're a machine, we can do it. And then you get on stage and like, your body doesn't quite cooperate, and you kind of have to learn like what is what. And then, what Eva said, like readjusting in each theater, because each theater has different allergens or whatever. So your body is constantly in this like, okay, let me adapt to this, let me adapt to that. It's tough.
And
I love how, like, I loved talking about health, because like Kate, when she wasn't on for Christine, she'd be a princess next to me when we were princessing. And I loved how we had unofficial people in the cast that were like the guru doctor for X, and she was always the guru vocal doctor. So she'd be next to me, and like people would come up and go like, oh, who? Do you hear that? What should I do? What should I do? Like giving advice, like holding for Storm next to me, ready for Hannibal, giving advice of like what to do, or like if it was body related, like there was this ballet girl McKenna, and she would be the unofficial person everybody go to, like asking for like help or creams or what to do. Like, so it was always. I just found it fascinating. I would just stand there as people would just come. It was like the doctors in session. She would be there, and people would just come up, and it was wonderful, because it was so nice to see how everybody supported each other and like would share, emergency or whatever it was to like help get through it. But that was always one of my favorite moments, was watching Kate with people just coming singing at her. Or like at her.
And I was like, please, I don't actually know. So I was like,
sorry?
It's funny. It was like, I would tell them what I thought, and then I'd be like, oh God, I hope they don't go out there and get injured, because I didn't know the real answer. I was like, I don't know.
Can
you sign this disclosure?
Yeah, right.
On that vein, talking about singing when you're feeling under, or like keeping your health up on the road. I had a really we all confronted some kind of health thing. I mean, Trista and I had a joke at one point, like every city was something different. Like, I mean, she also had her appendix out, and I like tore a ligament, and I had mono, and there's like all kinds of things.
Yeah, I remember Trista broke her foot too.
Pardon?
I think Trista broke her foot too.
Yeah, she had another injury. Yeah. So, but yeah, health crazy. But I think one of the lessons that I learned is that you're not always going to sing on a voice that's 100%. You're not always going to sing in a body that's 100%. And that's okay. 90% of the time, you're not going to be at 100%. And it's just like, that was something that was really a good lesson for me, because I think before, you have shorter contracts where you have like 3 months of a show or something, and you're like, okay, like you can feel good for that chunk of time. You're in one place, you're not traveling, you're doing 8 shows a week, and it's maybe a tough show, but whatever, it's a shorter stretch. Whereas this is a long game, and you're not always going to have a voice that's like at its best. And the whole point of like having technique and having your routine is learning how to support yourself even when you're not at that 100% mark.
Yeah, that's always when you kind of like have to fall back on your technique and your training to go, okay, I got this. I can trust myself because I trust that I have good technique, and that's that.
Yeah. There was a chunk of time when I was sick in the fall when I was, I didn't know I had mono, but I had mono. And my lymph nodes had expanded so much that I actually couldn't hear anything.
Oh my
God. We were in Ottawa and I was doing shows, and our music supervisor, John, had come in from the UK, and I had to do the show that night. And I got through the show and he came and he was like, that was beautiful. I was like, it was? Like, I can't hear it now.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely just 100% like muscle memory. Like, okay, something's gonna come out. Like,
right.
But yeah, what a time.
Yeah. Piggybacking off of that, with vocal health, I found it really hard when family or friends would come to visit or see the show. I don't know how you guys dealt with it, but it was really hard because I love to talk. And you want to like be there with them and celebrate after the show, but then you have I called them a 1 a.m. matinee the next day, and you're just like, how do I sustain this? So it was a lot of sign language with family members and lots of hot drinks, and just like that was rough. But I also keeping healthy on the road as well, Julia, discovered the first year of tour that I had stomach issues.
I remember that.
Yeah. And I would have really bad stomach aches.
Next to her.
That was so pleasant to be around.
In the dressing room and in the gondola.
And Morgan.
So, yeah, I had to figure out with Celia Hottenstein, her dad was able to get me a reference to a doctor in Chicago while we were there. And so I finally went and saw someone because I was getting stomach aches at places for the show. And I just was like, my costume doesn't fit because my stomach is out to here in pain.
Goodness.
Yeah. And so I spent a good portion of that first year figuring out what foods I could eat and what foods I couldn't eat.
And what a hard thing to do that when you're in the middle of a performance schedule in a city that's not your own home, right?
No.
Try and go and find the doctor and try to handle all of that.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
It sucked. I'm not gonna lie. But it's things that you have to deal with while doing your job at the same time. The job that is moving. It was rough. Cause also every city you get there the first day and you're like, I don't know where the grocery store is or anything. There's a CVS on the corner. Okay, tortilla chips and cheese it is for dinner because they're the only foods I know I can eat.
Yeah. Guys, what was that sandwich place? Big Jim's, what is it?
Jimmy John's?
Jimmy John's. If there was a Jimmy John's in the state that was close by, I'd be like, okay, I'm good.
We're good.
Okay. I can function because there's a Jimmy John's. At least I know something.
Yeah.
It's so true. That first day in the city being like, well, what do I eat before I go to the theater? I don't know anything close. It's really.
Oh man, if there was a pharmacy near the theater, it was life changing. I could get a Tylenol or a mucus drug if I need it, right there, or a soup for the microwave, anything.
Yeah.
Oh yes, those Progresso soups. That tin that followed you for months and months.
Oh yeah, the soup can. Yeah, I mean it's just crazy. And then it's you get inside a theater. This is still what we're talking about, kind of. But you get inside a theater and the acoustics are so different, and you can't hear yourself, and you're like, "Is my voice going?" And then you're like, no, they can hear it the same out there, but it's so different for you that it was a big learning curve every time.
Yeah, there's always this learning curve of but then it's kind of cool because your body still does what it's supposed to do. You trust your muscle memory, and I used to be like, oh wow, okay, all right. I can trust myself. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Lily.
Lily. What?
Oh, I was just about to bring this up. With us talking about vocal health, I was like, we also had to dance on Broken Bodies, and I was going to be like, Lily, tell us about yours.
It's funny, speaking of muscle memory, because in DC also, because that's where all of the fun things happen. I tore my meniscus, and I was out I think I was only out for 4.5 months, so that was I think I had a quick recovery, which was nice. But I was so nervous about coming back to the show and if I was going to remember it. And then I remember after the show, actually being kind of disappointed that I did it. there was no, like, I didn't have to think about it at all. And there was a part of me that was like, well, I'm kind of,
Yeah.
I guess it really is like riding a bike, you know, like even some of my ad libs, like to like my friends that were standing close to me were exactly the same at exactly the same time. And they would come out of my mouth and I'd be like, like
It's all in the costume.
Yeah.
It's all in the costume, right?
It is. I was like,
You just put it on and it comes right back.
True.
Yeah, and Morgan, your sister's in the West End, right?
Yes. Yeah. So she started with Phantom West End August last year in rehearsals. And I think I went for her debut September 9th, was her ensemble debut as a princess. And she's the Triangle Girl, Lily, if you remember. And I can't remember who's done the OG production. And then flew back in October, goodbye savings, to see her Christine debut. But you know, as fate would have it, she got cold on the week before I got there, and I was like,
no.
So I was like, just pretend it's another dress rehearsal, Corinne, and this one's really your Christine debut.
Oh, I love that though.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
I actually saw her go on as Christine the same date that I left the tour. I'm gonna start crying. And I got to sit in the light booth for that performance, and was just sitting there watching her do Wishing, like sobbing. And I texted Storm and Chris Mann and Jackie, and I was like, today's our like however many years anniversary of leaving the tour, and I'm sitting here watching my sister. I'm just bawling my eyes out.
Guys, it's so cool. I mean, it's just so neat to hear how this show perpetuates on. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's so connected and becomes this, and like so cool that your literal family is now so entrenched in it, but also the family dynamic.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, the Team Christine thing, like, Julia, you and I have met on the street, and we've met in
Pearl Studios or Ripley.
In Pearl, yeah, like twice. But like, I already feel so close to you.
Well,
And, like,
that's so
obviously-
crazy. I said this to somebody, like, after I saw you in the street that one day. I was like, it was so weird. I like hugged Eva as though I had known her for 10 years.
Yeah.
We had met 20 times. And then I saw you, like, you know, a few other times after that. And every time it's like, hey, what's up? As if like we just saw each other yesterday. And it's just like, it really is like this crazy, weirdly connected group of people that because you guys have experienced the same thing, it kind of just feels like you know everything forever, which I love. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you've become like such a friend, and I love that.
Yeah, I know. And even like, you know, like I've had people reach out from the West End cast, like I've talked to people on the international, like everyone kind of connects with each other, even though we've never actually worked together.
Yeah.
And I think it's so cool. And Morgan, like, that's just an amazing story. I just love that so much.
Well, I mean, like, not right now because everything shut down, but
still.
Yeah, it sucks for my sister because my sister and I have dual citizenship with the US and Australia.
Yeah, I have it with the UK. Anyways,
right.
Yeah.
Not the UK, but we're both able to get an ancestry visa to the UK because our grandmother's from Scotland. So
Amazing.
my sister's been there on that visa, but because she's on a visa, she doesn't get any government assistance during this whole crisis.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And Equity is like, they're currently working out a deal with producers, and Cameron McIntosh is doing a deal with his shows specifically on the West End to like make sure his performers are taken care of to come back. But yeah, she's kind of struggling, and she's like, I just landed my dream job and it just got ripped away from me.
Oh God. I mean, so many people are feeling that. I mean, all over the place too. I mean, even there was a bunch of shows on Broadway that were supposed to open that week, weren't they? Like 6 was supposed to happen.
The shutdown.
Even have they were meant to have their big press night, and that got canceled.
Right. Yeah. It's I mean, yeah.
Someone said they were possibly better off in the long run. I mean, it's an amazing show. The reviews were not going to be.
Yeah.
But they were saying if they had been reviewed and the reviews were bad, that would have affected them coming back at the end. So there might have been why they called. Well, no, all of Broadway shut down, but they shut it that day, so they might be better off in the long run.
That's a good point. Really good point.
Yeah. Which show? I didn't hear you, Carmen. Which show?
We were talking about 6.
Oh God, it was amazing. I got to see
so good.
An open dress or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a preview too.
I know someone who saw it in like 4 different productions so far.
Oh really?
Yeah. I think she traveled.
That'll be around. That will be one of the ones that comes back, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Sequel called 7.
Coco.
Oh God. Sad we never got to work together because you're funny.
I was really glad right before, because I left New York on the 11th and they closed everything down on the 12th. I got to see The Hangman, which was that play with Mark Addy from Game of Thrones and Dan Stevens from Downton Abbey and that guy. But now it's not opening up again. So
Yeah,
that was like the one thing I was like, oh.
It ran 13 previews and didn't even open, I think.
Yeah, I got to see a preview, thankfully. But yeah, sad times.
It is sad times.
Well, guys.
I was last in New York all the way back in September for Beetlejuice, and I've been back since. I think I probably would have gone by now if shutdown didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not a lot happening here.
Yeah.
Just a lot of people in masks.
And not singing Masquerade.
Right.
Where's that viral? Where is everybody with their thing masks doing Masquerade or whatever their version of Masquerade?
Because it'll sound like.
You just did it too. I always do the old one.
Put a hole in it.
So do I.
I always do the old one too. Lily, I can't even remember. It's so weird. Whenever, for Hannibal, I cannot remember the tour version. And for Masquerade, I cannot remember the tour version. And it's every other part of the show, I go back to the tour version because it's the first one that I learned. But for some reason, Masquerade and Hannibal, I still remember the original choreography. And it's like, I don't know why. It's
Yeah, it randomly, I would like during sound checks and stuff, things would happen. Like I would find myself like during Hannibal doing like the choreography like towards the elephant and be like, what? Where did that come from? Like, that's not at all. But yeah, it's weird. Muscle memory.
Weird jumble of different versions.
I know.
The brain.
I know. It'll be there forever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, guys, I'm gonna have to get off in a minute. Just giving like a 5 minutes heads up before I
I gotta get going.
Yeah, but it was really nice. We've been so nice, and to meet everyone. Those of you I met before, it was nice to meet you guys, and fans, it was nice to meet you guys. And Alyssa, thank you.
Too.
Yeah, guys, this is great.
Yeah, this is really awesome.
I have a quick question. Do you have like, since I am a Phantom fan, do you have like any since one of my dream roles is to be Christine, do you have any like what you call it?
Advice?
Yeah, like musical theater advice.
I think like I think we're probably all going to say the same version of the same thing, which is like keep working really hard and training as hard as you can, stay persistent, listen to your teachers and believe in yourself. And I know all of that sounds a little bit cliche, but it's truly the same advice that we're all still taking for ourselves, because we're all still auditioning and we still have goals and things that we want to do, and that's still what we got to do.
Right. Yeah.
Amen.
That's the one.
Actually, to
no,
piggyback.
I was just agreeing with Julia.
Actually, to piggyback off of that, I was wondering, because I know, like, obviously the answer is to keep training and, continue to stay persistent. But what about, like, the more, like, technical business aspects? Like, do you have to get an agent? Do you have to go to school? Do you have to, like, certain programs or degrees? Sure. Or is there, or because I know also everybody's journey is different too.
Yeah, everybody has
Yes.
a really different path. I mean, I went to Penn State for one semester and then I dropped out and I moved to New York and I don't have a college degree. I think there's other people in this group that also.
I don't have a college degree.
I don't have one.
Yeah. And then on the opposite side of that, I have many, many friends who graduated from their musical theater programs and who are working on Broadway, and that was their path. So it's really about knowing yourself, I think. I think it's about taking the time, and now is a really good time because we're kind of all in isolation. So it's a really good time to kind of like, you know, go a little internal and see what is your path, like what is the best thing for you to do personally. How do you learn as a person? Do you learn best in like a conservatory type environment? Do you learn best in a classroom? Do you learn best when you have a strict schedule or not? I think that everyone has different answers to those questions. Yeah.
And there's so many resources available now. Like now online, there's so many resources that weren't even available like last year, like as far as watching shows or coaches that there were coaches that I found it difficult to, like, I would see them online, but now they have a whole online like Zoom coaching thing going on and fractions of the cost. Like, so now is a great time as well to, you know, if there's a New York based or London based or whatever based coach that you've always wanted to work with, you can pop them an email and probably have a Zoom class with them now. You know, normally they would always have in person. So there's so many resources available. And kind of to both Bay and Julia's comment as well, I was just gonna say, with a show like Phantom or something that's been going on for so long, is to just also, if you love the show, then be also open to changing the ideas of what you might play in that show. When I started auditioning for Phantom when I was 18, and I didn't get until I was 28, at 18, I knew I was not a Christine, but they called me back for a Christine, and I realized I just had to wait until I finally hit Carlotta understudy age. Like that, for me, it was a waiting game. But I kept going. Hey, I'm still here, and hey, I'm still here, and hey, I'm still here. A friend of mine who's doing the world tour at the moment, and he sent me a message on Instagram when he got it, because when I met him, we were doing a growing studio in New York City class, and he sang, and he so was determined to be a RAL or a RAL understudy. And I said, dude, you should start looking at Piangi. If you're gonna do the show, that's where I see you popping into the show. And about a year later, he sent me a message when he got his world tour, and he said, you called it. He goes, I wasn't a RAL, I was a Piangi, you called it. And it's just kind of, sometimes you, like, we all get, you know, we all have visions of ourselves, but sometimes you need somebody to say to you, and it happens to me all the time, like, you know what, as much as you could probably sing that or do that, you ain't gonna get cast as that, but in that same show, you could get cast as X, you know? So it's being flexible and being adaptable, I think, is a really, really good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, love you all.
Bye.
Stay safe, stay healthy.
Carmen, it's so nice to meet you over this.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for the advice.
And thanks to all of those of you that keep posting like fabulous fun things and things. Like, I love that everybody's finding a way to still have fun and bake or do something silly during this time. If you haven't seen it, Emma makeovering Simon was hysterical.
I started that. Anyone else who wants to do Bro Glow? That was my thing that I started, and now people are doing it, and I'm so excited, Michael.
See, we'll see.
Love you, Michael.
Bye. You guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna hang up too, guys. Goodbye.
See you, Julia.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Caitlin.
Bye.
Bye, guys. So good to see everyone.
It's a pleasure, Morgan.
Thank you.
Bye. I don't know how to leave.
Me either. Meeting. I'm gonna stay on here because I gotta figure out how to save the recording.
Oh,
Gotcha.
I could teach
here we
you
go.
that.
I found it. Okay, bye.
See you, Julia. Pleasure to
Bye,
meet you, Morgan.
Constantine, how do you save the recording? This is my first time recording a meeting.
Oh, so
I'm also like.
Oh, it's okay. So, since you have a recording of the meeting, when this call ends, it'll start down. It should start downloading to your computer or onto a cloud.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was really
Okay, or
good.
just normally on the phone, like
still
talking.
Yeah. If you record it on your phone, I don't know what happens, but I know if it's from a computer, I believe you're on a computer, it should just download.
Okay.
after.
Awesome.
It's whatever is in the settings. I would have to look.
It was nice to meet you guys.
Awesome.
Some Phantom
Nice to meet all of
Thank
you.
you all
I want to
so
know,
much.
Lauren, do you have more bootlegs?
Bootlegs? Ooh, I want to do some
I
bootlegs.
just want to know. I just want to know
Yeah,
if
me
everyone that
too.
was on today has a bootleg.
All I have is early audio tour.
Can I like ask a question?
Find out. I mean, I have of Robert Finlayson, who was like back in 2002. He was Raoul. I have stuff of that, so I can find out.
Oh,
I can find
goodness.
out. Like
I just want to know if anyone took a
I got some
bootleg of
stuff.
me. But I'm just kidding.
Okay, I can find out.
Guys, check Glass
honestly, I
Prism
can.
on Tumblr. She has like everything.
Who is this?
Glass Prism on Tumblr. She
Glass
like has every cast ever.
That's
since
hilarious.
The 80s. And I don't think she saw the show till last year.
Alyssa, thank you
Wow.
so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Follow me on Facebook
Yeah,
and
thank you so
Instagram.
much, Alyssa.
You're
I'll
welcome.
Instagram you if I find anything.
Yeah, well, you're on my Instagram already.
I'm
You
Bea,
can
by
on
the way.
Facebook, friend me.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Nice seeing you all.
Awesome. Thank you all so much.
You're so
I
welcome.
really appreciate this. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Where is my leave meeting? Participants? Leave. Leave.
I guess I have to leave now. Alyssa.